Why is this taking so long?
Says it's being recorded and live streamed.
Okay, there we go.
So maybe it worked.
All right, we're on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Steel Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ribeiro from SteelSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Corum. Dave, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Dave, we got actual football to talk about this week. That's pretty exciting after this long summer of non-football bullshit
Thank
that we
God.
have to go through.
Thank God. It's a long 6 months, man.
Yep.
So I'm just glad we're here.
We got a little bit of news before we get to the actual reviewing the preseason game against the Texans. Jerry Dulac, I don't know, man. He's got some odd stuff going on here.
He's an odd
First,
character.
yeah. First this morning, he reports that Troy Fuatano is going to be out about 2 weeks with this injury he sustained in the game, which I've heard from other people. Fine, okay. About an hour later, he tweets that the Steelers have decided Troy Fuatano is going to be the starting right tackle week one, and I'm like, I doubt anybody in the Steelers has made that declaration because you got a rookie right tackle who never played right tackle in college. Now he's going to miss the rest of the preseason games or close to it with 2 weeks. Where does he get this from? How does he?
I don't know. My man's playing with house money or something. Because like I don't know how you come up with this stuff. Like I mean, if true, good. Honestly, as long as that means Broderick's going to left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means for Broderick, honestly.
But very interesting. If true, then good. It's kind of weird because it's not how the Steelers usually operate. And the guy's injured, so then that really kind of makes it even more puzzling that they would let that be leaked that he's going to be starting right tackle because of he's injured right now. I don't know. It all just doesn't. The timeline doesn't match up. I can put it to you that way. So I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I hope it's true.
Yeah, I think every Steeler fan in the world hopes it's true because that's good news. It's confusing to me. Speaking of Steelers sports writers, Mark Kaboly got shit canned today. Did you see that from the Athletic?
Saw that. Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. Do they have? I don't know. Do they have anybody else covering the Steelers besides him?
I do not know.
I don't really subscribe to the Athletic, so I don't know who they.
I don't know if they're doing that well, honestly. So
that's
and I know that like because he used to work for DK and then he left and went to them, and that was only about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe time goes by so quick I could be off on this, but like I'm not surprised because it seems like they cut people, and I thought I saw somewhere they aren't doing that well. But that really sucks for him. That career field, it seems like it's rapidly evolving for people. Like there's no like I don't know if these guys can do pensions with these kind of companies or what, but it just seems like I see a lot of these guys jump from one to another, and I'm just like, man, how do you? I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could have a career like that.
Kind of like mercenary type stuff that everyone's got paying.
It's what is it called? Like freelance photography or whatever.
Yeah, freelancing,
yeah. Like I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like a very stable job to have. So I don't know. But hey, good luck to him and good luck to all of them.
Sure
that's tough.
I'm sure he's got enough. He's established enough where he'll land on his feet. He'll land somewhere.
Somebody will scoop him up. I'm sure.
I can see him going back to DK.
Right. Absolutely.
Steelers signed an offensive tackle today, probably just to fill in for Fuatano when he's out. Tyke Doss, he was on waivers from the Ravens. I didn't get a chance to research him too much because it happened about 15, 20 minutes before we got on the pod, but 6'5", 378, big boy, Dave.
He's a big dude.
Big dude. That's all we can tell you on Tyke Doss, but I'm sure he's just a cam body to hold the lines in practice until Fuatano can come back. Braden Fehoko, pour one out for him. He's on the IR. He's out.
Poor guy.
I don't think he's going to ever play a game with the Steelers at this point. It's not working out for him.
No.
Good news. Dean Lowry and Cordero Patterson are both back from their IR stints. So that's good news.
Cordell looked good today, apparently.
He did look good. Yeah, that's what I've heard. He's looked pretty good. I can't wait to see him kick return. Hopefully, the next game he'll get a chance to do that.
Wonder if he'd be interested in punt return.
He could probably do that as well.
We'll
talk about a certain Steeler
over receiver some other one
that struggled a little bit. To put it mildly. Yeah, definitely. Marcus Golden retired, Dave. What happened?
No idea. No idea.
All of 10 minutes with the Steelers and decided to retire.
And they said he looked good practice. He flashed, and it's like, oh man, it's gonna be so good to have him back. And then it's like, yeah, I'm retired. It's like, wait, what? Why? So what?
He's not that old, right? He's under 30. He's like 32,
he's in his 30s, but it isn't like he's like 37, 38. I don't know, dude. Guys, maybe just I don't know, man. Maybe they just don't feel like going through. He went out there and was just like, God, I'm tired of doing this stuff. Maybe he just didn't feel like it. He had the heart to do it anymore.
That does happen a lot. When you're a little older and you start going through training camp, you're like, I don't need this shit anymore. What else do I got? Some training camp stuff. They continue to use Miles Plumlee all over the place. Today he was wide receiver.
Yeah,
for the Steelers. So that's interesting.
And caught some passes from Fields over the middle. Like, dude, I like it. Like, look, see if they can find something with this guy. Good for him. Hopefully he does find something and it sticks for him. But I like it to have a guy like that can play multiple positions on top of throwing the ball. You know how many trick plays and gadget plays you could cook up with that shit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
100%. So now will it be enough for him to make the damn team? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
It's practice squad for him.
Yeah, I think it's practice squad for him too. I think that's definitely like an emergency situation if we're in dire straits at certain positions. But I like it. I like the fact that they're playing around to see if something sticks with him. It's good.
I heard Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both dealing today. Both had good practices today. That's going to turn into a wild quarterback battle. I think they're both doing well and both.
Well, the thing about it is that there was a trend, and that was whoever is covered by Everett, throw the ball there.
There is that. You're right.
I swear to God, dude, I got on X and was looking at it today, and it was. It's kind of like that joke about NASCAR. They're making another right turn. They're making another right turn. It was kind of like that with this because it was. He threw the ball and he got past Everett. Oh my God, he threw the ball and he got past Everett. Like, dude, it was nonstop. I saw it was Calvin Austin III took one to the house on him. George Pickens took one to the house on him. Van Jefferson took one to the house on him in practice. I'm like, holy shit, does this guy ever stop anything? Now, however, Arnold has looked really good. He had a really good practice today.
They say Arnold's looking really good.
And they said he's really starting to make his case to give my guy Bishop some competition there at that slot corner position. So that's a great problem to have. If you've got two guys like that, fuck, that's amazing.
That's turning into one of the bigger camp battles of the summer. Is those two guys going at it. They're both playing very well, which is, like you said, that's a great problem to have. All the talk of Futano being the starting right tackle, and the first team offensive line was Dan Morris, Sam Alu, Herbig again, Daniels, and Broderick Jones on the right side. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I swear, Dave, that's going to be week one. I know we've beaten this to death, but it's just that's going to be the week one lineup. Those five guys.
Probably.
Although
I don't know.
Zach Frazier had a good preseason game, and he had a good practice today, so he's pushing.
Yeah.
He's pushing.
He's doing very well. So it's just got to let time go by.
Yeah, let
and
time
eventually
take care of it. Yeah.
and it will happen.
All right, you want to talk a little bit about that preseason game? What were your overall impressions of the game? What did you think?
It was kind of like I expected. Remember, I said it's probably going to be a little sloppy. It's a brand new offense, brand new parts, players. So it was a little sloppy. The thing that I really liked the most was two things, actually. The passes down the middle. There was a lot more passing down the middle, a lot more play action. So I got actually three things: passing down the middle, play action, and three. There were 8 passes for 15 yards and 5 passes for 20 yards.
Yep.
And Arthur Smith, I guess today he talked to the media yesterday. Guess what word he used? That was the greatest word that I would ever want to hear from a Steelers offensive coordinator. He said he wants them to be aggressive. Aggressive, Dave. When's the last time you heard someone say this with the offense? I was just like, did he just say the A word? Did he really say that? I was like, oh, this is great. This isn't, and people are like, we know he's going to run the ball, but man, he was letting them fling it and see what happens. He said, hey, you got to get your guys a chance on 50-50 balls. And I was just like, dude, you are speaking, this is music to my ears to hear this. So I'm excited. I mean, when you got two guys with rocket arms as your quarterback, this is the kind of stuff you want to hear, to be honest.
Dave, I don't think it's a coincidence. A lot of play action leads to deeper plays downfield because it's less predictable. The safeties can't sit in the middle of the zone waiting for something to happen. They have to come up and at least, and the linebackers at least respect the possibility of a run game with that play action. It's a lot more in the center.
You said less predictable, and what was the main word used to describe Matt Canada's offense was predictable.
Yeah.
So 100%. Yeah, no, I liked the play scheme. I really did. I saw that when they went into 13 personnel with 3 tight ends, and I liked it, dude. I really did. Just to see the guys throwing down the middle a lot more. Justin Fields had that really nice pass. He did a sidearm pass around a defender that got in the backfield. Because Fautano actually was struggling at first.
Yeah, we'll get to him. Yeah.
But he had a really nice pass to Najee on that screen, I believe it was.
Yep. That was on the screen.
And I thought Najee looked noticeably faster too. If you,
they said he lost weight, right?
Yeah, he's lost some weight, and I thought he did look a little faster, to be honest. But anyways, no, I thought the offense. I really liked how the offense looked. Didn't see as many, I don't know, 2-yard and outs and dump it off to everyone. You didn't see them always going, to the sideline to catch the ball. You really saw them start to open up the whole field and go down the middle. It was nice to see, dude. Like I liked it. The only reason that made it look sloppy was the damn fumbles.
Yeah.
And like I said, Fautanu struggled to block in the beginning. Just stuff like that was what I saw, but I expected there to be a little bit of sloppiness, to be honest.
You could tell Houston was on their second preseason game and the Steelers were on their first. Right. They looked a little bit more crisp. The Steelers looked a little, which is fine. I don't want to. The most important thing to me was the Arthur Smith offense and how different it looked. Now I get it; it's vanilla. It's the first preseason game. We didn't see a lot of stuff, but I saw enough. Where this is different. This is better than we've seen in years, and I could just tell from one preseason game. Like I said, I forget who said, but they were under center. Like, I forget the number, but it was a lot more than last year on average. It's not just shotgun, jet sweep,
right?
Curls and outs. It's different stuff now, and
it wasn't
going to be a huge difference.
And it wasn't he's under center. It's 90% chance they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
Or they're in shotgun. It's 90% chance they're going to pass the ball. There was no more of that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The predictability's gone. Back to an NFL style offense, which is going to be music to all of our ears this season. I can guarantee you. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. Justin Fields looked pretty good. He went 5 for 6 for I think it was $170. The fumbles, Dave. I watched the snaps like 3 or 4 times. I saw it on the all 22. You can't tell whose fault it is exactly, other than he's under center with a snap. That's on the quarterback, right? I mean, it's not a shotgun, a bad snap. It's the quarterback's job to take that snap under center and cleanly get it. I feel like that's the one I want Justin Fields to succeed so bad in this offense. But that's the one thing that scares me is these goddamn fumbles just don't seem to go away.
Yeah. I mean, I think he has led the league since he's come into it with, is it fumbles or turnovers? Like 40 going into
it's fumbles. Fumbles is the big thing.
Yeah. So we're at 40 since he's come. That's a lot. So that's definitely something that, is going to drive Tomlin nuts if he doesn't get that in check. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that could be the thing that gives Russell Wilson the nod. If Russell Wilson can protect the football better,
turnovers, 100%.
It's going to go to him.
I know a lot of people wanted to kill Herbig, and he didn't play great, but I don't think those. It's hard to tell. It's not.
Yeah,
Just my opinion from sitting on my couch is that's on Fields more.
Me personally, I was joking around about it. I was like, "That's it. It's time for Frazier." I've seen enough. Yeah,
I know all the Frazier fans were going crazy.
Yeah, like but in all honesty, like that's
it's tough to tell, but
right. And honestly, it's their first game. There's a lot to play into this. I don't even know how much Herbig and Fields have actually worked together. So it's one of those things, man. They're gonna have to work at it and get used to each other and a comfortability, if you will. And I'm not that worried about that yet. I'm more worried about the fumbles where he's running around with it like a loaf of bread and not protecting the ball and fumbles that way. Fumble on the snap thing, that's something that should get fixed pretty quick.
You would hope so. What do you think, Kyle Allen? He looked he was good in the second half, but that was when the future furniture movers were out there. When he got his little,
I mean, he's the third string quarterback, dude. He had a 95 passer rating, so I mean that's pretty good. 95 after playing a whole half. Now he had a horrible throw to Calvin Austin III, wide open. Now, if Calvin Austin III wasn't 5'6" and weighed 110 pounds, does he make that catch?
No, I don't even think Pickens catches that ball. That was way out there.
But it's one of them things where he could have been better there. But I mean, my man, I thought was okay for a third string quarterback. I'm not going to have this high standard for him. So he did okay. He did fine. Like it wasn't. I'm not expecting him to go out there and look like Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I'm not. So he looked fine.
Running backs, like you said, Najee looked trimmed down, looked good. The starters look good, but some of the backups look pretty good. Jonathan Ward.
I would. Yeah, dude. Ward looked good. Edwards looked good.
Deshaun Edwards looked real good.
Yeah,
real good.
I mean, he had 28 yards on 3 carries or something like that? I know I have that stat. Right here. He had three attempts for 28 yards, and Ward had 6 attempts for 26 yards. And Edwards had a long of 24, and Ward had a long of 20 yards. Dude, they both looked really good. Like
they are deep.
Yeah, they are real deep at running back. But Patterson looked good in practice, so it's like, man, we're like 5 running back deep on this team with like guys looking good. So yeah, dude, it's a nice problem to have. But I like both Edwards and Ward. I like them both, really.
Wide receivers, R.I.P. Quez Watkins. It was nice knowing you, brother. What a fucking train wreck on the punt returns, man. Jesus Christmas.
That was bad.
That's your route to the roster, bro.
Right.
That's your route to the roster, and just a train wreck. I honestly expected to see him cut on Monday. I really did.
Nah, the Steelers are not going to be that crazy with it. I mean, they got to have the mid-off and wide receiver too, so we got to have as many of those guys still available. So can't get rid of the mid-off guys yet. We got to let them battle it out. But yeah, no, he just could not judge that ball well at all.
I don't know.
He got lucky on the first one, and then on the second one, I saw him doing the exact same thing. I was like, oh no, he's doing it again. And this time, he couldn't catch it. They recovered. It was just like, oh.
And then he made a bad fair catch when there was nobody around him. Just like a bad night for him.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, has this guy ever returned punts before? Like, what the fuck?
He has. I thought. I don't get it. He just froze up in the moment, I guess.
You shouldn't look that lost. Like, that's bad.
Like bad. When you're fighting for a roster spot, man, and this is it. This is your
nerves got to him first game, maybe. I don't know, but holy shit.
Anything else from the wide receivers? George Pickens is George Pickens.
Scotty Miller, man. Scotty Miller, dude, like, I knew that they brought him in, and I really just, another mid-off guy in the competition, didn't really think anything of it. But then, man, when I saw his speed and him catch and gain another like 10, 20 yards after the catch, I was like, damn, this guy can move. And then they're like, oh, this is Scotty Miller from, won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. And this is
won a Super Bowl.
And then somebody said something like he was the Wes Welker to Tom Brady, or just compared him to a bunch of different guys that were legit guys for Tom Brady. And I was like, really? I was like, okay, now this guy's got my attention. Now, mind you, he was doing it against, like you said, all the third string
Future
guys.
Movers, yeah.
But I mean, like, at least he's looking good against them. I mean, as a fifth, sixth guy, my automatic thought was, can he return punts? Let's see it.
I did hear today that he has returned punts in the past. So,
well, there you go.
He ought to be begging to get in that line because Quez Watkins left it wide open.
Yeah, definitely. As far as wide receivers goes, I thought Van Jefferson looked good. I thought he looked good.
I know we give him a hard time on the spot, but he looked good.
He's looked really good. That should have been a catch on the sideline that Tomlin didn't challenge.
Tom.
And I'm not.
Can we talk about that, Dave?
Well, I'm not going to beat Tomlin up. I think he didn't give a shit because it's preseason. That's what I think it was.
The offense is rolling. You want to keep your offense on a roll.
Yeah, I know.
Challenge it. Come on, Tomlin.
I didn't like that he didn't challenge it, but I also wonder if it's like, it's preseason. We don't give a shit. Like,
I don't know, Dave. He had that red flag in his hand, and he's looking at the
did he actually have the red flag?
He had the thing in his hand. It's like he's a disaster with those challenges.
I didn't know he had the flag in his hand.
Yeah, they panned to him at one point. He had it.
Okay, I must have missed that. I didn't know that. I thought it was just one of those things where he just said, I didn't know that he literally was indecisive and didn't throw it.
He's just, and maybe in his mind he was like, "This is preseason. Should I really throw this fucking thing or not?" But still,
maybe.
I don't know. He drives me insane. With the challenge thing. I've never seen a coach worse than him. Never. He's just terrible. The wide receivers had a pretty good day overall. So not much to complain about in that area. Offensive line, I thought the tackles were a little shaky pass blocking. Both Broderick Jones and Troy Fuatano were both shaky. Dan Moore.
They all were just not that great in that first half. At least I thought they weren't that great. Fuatano struggled mightily in the beginning.
He's still looking for Daniel Hunter where he went because he just blew right by him on that sack.
Blew right by him.
So
that's what I'm talking about. Where he made Justin Fields had that really nice pass.
Yeah,
it was because Fuatano let him. Yeah, but that was a really nice pass by Fields. But I don't know, dude. Like he struggled a little bit, then come to find out he had a knee injury, and you're like, shit. Ends up it's not even that. I think they only said 2 weeks he's going to be out. So so that's good. Ben looked, he struggled too. I noticed. And Moore is just bad in general. So of course there.
It's something to keep an eye on how those tackles play going forward because
like I'm starting to worry a little bit.
I'm getting a little worried too.
Like Broderick, if he doesn't start playing a little better, it might be Fuatano, and then Moore is the left tackle.
I have a crazy idea. How about let's see what Broderick Jones can do on his natural fucking left side?
Yeah, no doubt.
How about that, Mike?
No doubt.
Put him on his natural because he's obviously struggling on the right, especially in pass protection. He's struggling. He struggled at the end of last season.
Oh, it's not his natural position, and everybody knows this except for Mike fucking Tomlin and Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope that's what they're going to do. They're going to give him more looks at left tackle. And Jerry Dulac is right that Fuatano is going to be starting right tackle. So we'll see. But all the tackles I thought struggled that are guys competing for the top position at both sides. I was not impressed with any of them.
The interior guys did well. I thought, Zach Frazier when he came on, didn't disappoint. McCormick was pretty good. So overall, pretty solid performance in the first game. I don't think there's much to complain about.
No, it wasn't as bad as last season. You remember? Was it last season where it was like really bad in the first game, and it was just like, what the hell? It wasn't that bad, at least. So that was good to see, I guess.
Tight ends didn't do too much.
No, they didn't.
They did use Jack Coletto a lot as fullback, which is
Connor Hayward had a couple catches, if I remember correctly.
He did have a couple catches, yeah.
So, did he use him at all fullback, or is it just strictly Jack Coletto? I don't recall. I don't recall him being back there at all.
I have to be honest. I don't know for sure if he did or not, but if it was, it wasn't too.
No, I honestly I don't either. But for Coletto to get that much work back there may be some smoke to that. There may be a lot of smoke.
I think he makes a team, Dave. I think he makes a team.
It's an element that they want to have. I think they want to have that element of having a fullback. They can go I formation and just smash that fucking football. Yep. Like I could see it. I really could. So
And I think they want Connor Haywood catching passes. They don't want him blocking. They want him as a pass catcher tight end.
He's a hell of a pass catcher.
He
can make some really contested catches. He really can. So, like, that's fine with me. But they're going to have to get, how are they going to keep a fullback plus, 3 tight ends? Like usually that doesn't work that way. Stuff.
They can do full wide receivers instead of 5, what they usually keep.
And I don't think that would hurt if they lost some of those guys. I mean, right? Let's be honest.
If the mid-off just went – they all went bye-bye.
I mean, if we're going to go 13 personnel, who the hell cares anyways?
Yeah, right. This is my point with that. Not to bring up the Brandon Aiyuk trade, but this is we're giving up, picks and spending money for a guy we're gonna be in 13 personnel half the time, and we're gonna take one of them off the field.
Unless we're gonna revert away from that back to 12 personnel.
Yeah, I guess they could do that too. Yeah,
they could. So. I don't know. It's just one of them things where it just a lot of it just doesn't. I don't know how they're going to do it. It'll be interesting to see how they go about doing this if they want to keep Coletta. That's all.
Let's flip over to the defensive line. Monty Adams played real well.
Dude,
had a sack.
My man was money. He was a beast. He did really good.
He did.
I mean, thank God for him, really.
Right.
Honestly.
Because I'm worried about the depth of this defensive line. I'm glad he's playing well.
Yes. It's good to see him doing what he was doing because at any given moment, you can lose Hayward or Ogunjobi injury at any moment. So him and Benton are so important because of the other two and them being, I hate to say injury prone, but lately, last couple seasons, there's been a lot of injuries to those two. So, Leal with a sack.
Leal had a sack. Yep.
But I mean, like that was an outside linebacker, so I guess we'll get the edge rusher a little bit. But
but he's a tweener. They used him in both.
But it was good to see. He's had some hype a little bit this training camp. So to see him actually, get past his blocker and the quarterback for some dumb reason went towards him and he nailed him. So that was nice to see too.
We should mention Benton got hurt. He took a finger to the eye or something, so he's missed practice the last couple of days too. He should be all right. I mean, it's an eye, so he's got another one. He'll be all right.
You got 2. You're good.
Get back out there, buddy.
Take some Tylenol and hydrate. You'll be okay.
Loudermilk played pretty well. He got a tip pass. He was okay.
That's who I was going to bring him next. He had that tip pass. That's what allowed them to have that. Good. Or it was almost an interception, or was it intercepted? I forget.
I forget too. I don't think it was intercepted. I think
was that the one where Watts? We thought he caught it.
Yes, I believe that was the one.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. So good all the way around. Linebackers, inside linebackers. Dave, did you have a little moment there on that first play when Peyton Wilson blew up that play in the backfield?
Yeah, it moved a little.
I kind of thought you were.
It was. I was just like, oh my God, he got there so quick. It was like that was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, he did it again. It was just like, that guy is everywhere. I was like, he is amazing. But then they started throwing on him, and I was like, ooh. I was like,
coverage was a little suspect.
Coverage was a little worrisome there. I was like, okay. Then he missed a couple tackles too in the second half.
He did miss a tackle.
So, it's good to see what we know he's capable of. But you also got that wake up of it is a rookie. So one of them things. But
someone made a good point on a podcast. Forget who I was listening to, but I'll try to remember after to give him credit. Peyton Wilson didn't play a lot of true inside linebacker in college. He was an inside linebacker, but they used him on the edge a lot. They moved him around a lot. So I think.
Did he blitz a lot?
He blitzed a lot. So some of this stuff in coverage is probably going to take him some time because he's not used to, diagnosing, getting in coverage, staying in coverage. So we'll have to be a little patient on that end. We saw the explosiveness and the the tackling ability and all that stuff, and you could see the athleticism with this guy. The only concern I have with him is the injuries. If he can stay healthy, I don't think there's any doubt.
Right,
I mean, he could be defensive rookie of the year if he can get on the field enough.
See, look at you coming around a little.
Well, he's got the abilities to. It's just the health scares me.
Grouping him with Patrick Queen is going to be him and Patrick Queen together is going to be magic.
Could very well be. Outside linebackers, besides Leal sack, I didn't see a hell of a lot. Herbig was okay. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I think Herbig had one QB hurry. I think he had, and that was really about it. I didn't see much else from him besides that. But that's okay. I mean, Kieran Johnson, I thought did all right.
He is making a lot of noise in camp too. He had a great practice today. I heard. He's not saying much, but he ran right by Dan Moore like he was standing still and got a sack in practice today. Yeah, Kerryon Johnson is someone to watch going forward because Isaiah Moon had a sack as well.
Yeah. So. I was thinking it was Kerryon Johnson. It was Moon that had the sack. But yeah, dude, I thought that both of them looked good. So
you're gonna have to now with Golden.
Right, Golden retiring and then moving, now I mean it's kind of weird because you got Leal at edge rusher now. So like I don't know, it's all interesting to me, the whole dynamic of this. Moving Leal to edge rusher on top of losing Golden, but you got all these young guys looking good like Moon and Kerryon Johnson. Yeah, you got Herbig in the mix. Like, yeah, no, I don't know. It's a good thing. This is what I love to say is that the Steelers have a lot of problems, and the problems are they got too many players that are looking
at certain positions.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's really a good thing. I'm trying to look up Johnson to see. He had 3 solo tackles, a tackle for a loss.
He played well. He played well too.
But Leal had a tackle for a loss and a sack, 2 solos. I'm trying to find Moon. Moon had 3 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a sack. So yeah. So they all did pretty well from what I saw. I liked what I saw from these backup edge rushers. I really did.
One of the negatives for this game, Dave, the safeties. Deshaun Elliott on that touchdown. Well, he took a bad angle on Tank Dell, right? Was it Tank Dell that scored that touchdown?
Him and Everett. Let's be honest. Everett.
Yeah,
was
Everett. Yeah, Everett we'll get to the cornerbacks and how he played. But KZ didn't look great to me either. That's a little bit of a good. I hope that's the first preseason game.
What is KZ? KZ hasn't looked great in 2 years.
I know.
Like, let's be honest here. Like I don't know what happened to him. His first season with the Steelers, he looked really good. He really did. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I don't know if it's the injuries have derailed him a little bit or what. But like, the guy has been a liability out there for a while now. Yeah. And it really sucks that in the first preseason game, guess what? Nothing's changed.
Maybe that's why Cam Sutton's been getting all these safety reps because they know they're
I do
not very deep at that position.
Right. So it makes sense.
Corners. I think Joey Porter Jr. had a penalty.
He did. And it was that was really I felt like the wide receiver grabbed him and pulled him down.
It looked like it. It did look like that.
So like I thought that was really ticky-tacky of a call whenever it wasn't even really him being the aggressor, to be honest. Beanie Bishop, I thought, looked fine. Yeah. I liked how he split the 2 defenders to make the tackle on the one play. But Corey Trice, to me, is the guy that is really the story here. I was so impressed with Corey Trice. When I saw him out there, I got really excited. His coverage grade was 76.9, Dave.
Oh. He was getting first team reps in practice today.
Right. He had tackle for a loss in the game. Today he's been solid with Jackson not playing. Dude,
that's something I didn't bring up at the top. Dante Jackson's missed 2 practices in a row, so that's something to keep an eye on.
So, I mean,
and Kalen Barnes got released. Did you see that? So they're a little thin at corner right now.
Yeah.
And Trice.
But dude,
Dave, you've been singing Trice's since what? The end of last season.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So
I mean, when I watched the film, I was like, holy shit, this kid's pretty dynamic. If he can stay healthy, then the knee injury happened. You're like, oh, there it is. There's the reason why he was a 7th round pick. But hey, if you get lucky and this kid stays healthy, you got something here. That's what I'm saying. Like after Cam Sutton comes off suspension, you've got him and you got Trice and Jackson and JPJ with Beanie Bishop. And if Rush. And Rush, and if this Arnold guy is really legit at all, dude, that's a solid core of corners there to have. Or
this could be the best cornerback group they've had in a very long time.
Yes.
A very long time.
Yes. Agreed.
Since Joe Hayden, who's the guy that went to the Texans after?
Johnson. Oh, what was that guy's name? I forget his name. I know what you're talking about. Because he hates the Steelers.
He hates the Steelers now.
He hates the Steelers, yeah.
That was a good cornerback group. But this one could be pretty good too. I mean, we kind of dreamed about it after last year's draft if Joey Porter Jr. and Corey Trice could end up being the starting corners, and
right.
we're kind of close to that right now. If
We're
Dante
getting there.
Jackson's hurt for real, then Corey Trice could end up being the guy.
Do you know the injury? What is the injury with Dante
They
Jackson? Is it
haven't said
groin?
anything.
Is it soft tissue? Oh,
I don't think I've heard anything of exactly what it was.
Huh. Because that's interesting too. Because if it's a soft tissue injury, those things are tricky, and that could cause him, a lot of issues where he might not be able to play. And Corey Trice can step right in there and take the job, really. But no, the corners I thought for the most part from what I saw looked pretty good. Just minus Everett and those guys. But the other six mentioned, I thought they did well for themselves.
You might want to swap Anthony Everett out for some free agent out there that might be better than what he's giving us right now.
Yeah, he's looked a little rough.
Cameron Johnson isn't afraid to put his shoulder in the fire, right? As a punter.
Bro, that was amazing. I mean, he ran and just absolutely obliterated that dude. And then he was just like, yeah, what's up? You want a piece of this bitch? It was just like, oh shit, this guy's not playing. Did you see that? He pushed that other guy away.
Nuts. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. I was like, all right.
I was about to give him shit for taking a stupid penalty, but I kind of liked it too much to even bother. I'm like, all right, I can live with that. It's preseason. Throw your weight around a little bit.
I liked it.
What do you think of this new kickoff thing? I'm not so far a fan. I don't know.
It's weird.
It's going to take some getting used to, right? It's
just weird. That's what it is. But if it lowers the risk of injury, so be it. Whatever.
You're right.
That's just the way I look at it.
Game wise, did Boswell even play? I don't think Boswell played in this game. Did he? Did he come
No, the other guy did and missed the extra point.
And missed a kick. Yeah. Oh, it was an extra point. Yeah.
I was just like, bro, like if you had any hope.
Oh, you see Boz struggle a little bit in training camp, and then you see this. It's like,
you missed an extra point your first try. Like, all right, we've seen enough. See ya.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, it's the first preseason game. You don't want to get too riled up about anything. The offense, the Arthur Smith stuff, that's what really gets me excited, man. That's what really gets me excited.
Yeah.
It's different. It's legitimate. It's, not the same.
It looked different. Yeah. And he's using the right words. Aggressive,
play action, down the middle, all the stuff we haven't seen in years. I guess we should spend 5 minutes on the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. It's still out there. I guess it's down to the Steelers and 49ers now. I don't even think the Commanders are in it anymore. I'm no close to, I don't know.
I don't think it's happening.
You don't think it's happening now?
Nope. I think he's staying with the 49ers.
And you hear wild stuff like they're asking for Freiermuth in the deal. They're asking for this.
I heard that they're demanding. I mean, I read that they're demanding a wide receiver return.
A wide receiver back.
But it's like that. Who could they be wanting in return from us? We're not giving them George Pickens. Get the fuck out of here.
George Pickens is out of the question. Yeah, forget about that.
But if they're asking for anybody else, I'll drive them to the airport.
Right. Like no one else in this team untouchable but George Pickens on wide receiver.
But then there was that rumor that the Steelers sweetened the pot a little bit. They made a newer, stronger offer. And it's like, okay, but if they're asking for a second and a third, and you're not meeting that,
I think that tweet was a little deceptive. I think they're asking for a second and a third in addition to what they were asking for in the beginning, which is
a player maybe
a player and a second and a third. And the Steelers are like, nah, we'll have to, because a second and third, I think it's done, right? I mean, the Steelers are crazy if they don't trade a second and third for Brandon Aiyuk.
Second and a third, and that's it. I'm doing.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Dave, I Sunday afternoon, I just watched some Brandon Aiyuk stuff. The guy is freaking elite route runner. He is very good.
No, he's good. I know.
I think people kind of have forgotten or lost track of how good he is.
So here's another thing too that people got to think about when it comes to trading these, not second but third round picks. We're going to be clearing out some salary next year. A lot of players are going to be leaving, correct?
Yes.
Is there a chance they could get some compensatory picks?
Yes, it's a good point.
So my thing with that is okay, you give them a second and a third, and you're like, oh shit. But there's a good chance the Steelers get a third round pick, compensatory pick next season, anyways.
That's a great point, Dave. You get at least a third for Najee.
Right, that third rounder don't kill you. You'll get another one if, say, Najee leaves.
Yeah.
So
even Dan Moore might get you a third.
Correct. So the way I look at it is that losing that second, okay, but the third is probably going to be replaced. So
the only thing is you got to be careful with that. It depends on how many you sign.
Right.
How many free agents you sign as opposed to how many. So if you go and sign a couple, it kind of nullifies it.
But if you sign Aiyuk to $28 million, guess what?
You're not
ain't signing. That's
a good point too. Then you got to pay George Pickens, and you got to pay Freiermuth, and you got to pay.
Yeah, dude.
Figure out a quarterback.
Jaylen Warren's going to be coming down the pipe here soon if they're not going to sign Najee.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
So they're not going to sign that many players. So
hey, that's a great point. I didn't think of that. They're going to get some compensatory picks back next season.
Yeah,
they're going to 100% right.
Yeah. So what are we waiting on? Give them the goddamn second and third round pick, and let's
just
roll.
Depends that one. I don't know what the player they're, and maybe they're asking for Pickens or Freiermuth and Steals like that. No.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. There's no fucking way. I'm not. That's just stupid.
I wish they had another different tight end on the roster. Then I would maybe think about Freiermuth if they had another guy. You got Hayward, who's not really a true tight end, and you got a big offensive tackle as your other tight end.
Now, they did sign Chosen Anderson or whatever his name
49ers did, yes.
Yes, they did sign him.
They're prepared. One of the holdups they talk about with this deal is this 49ers, I don't know why, just demanding a wide receiver back. You have, Deebo Samuel. You drafted two guys. And who's the other guy that they have that I always forget?
Is it Pearson? They got Deebo and Aiyuk, and then you got is it Pearson and Malaki? Are the two new wide receivers they drafted?
Yeah, but they have another guy they just re-signed.
Or Malachi or whatever.
Yes, Malachi. Let's see, wide receiver. I got right there.
And then you got Chosen Anderson now. So, I mean, that's not bad at all.
Juwan Jennings is the guy.
Oh, that's the other one, Juwan Jennings. Yeah, dude, that's 6 guys.
You drafted Ricky Pearsall in the first round. You've got Juwan Jennings. You got Deebo Samuel.
Pearsall. That's how you say his name. I kept saying Pearson. Pearsall.
And they have Malachi Corley, too. They drafted him. That guy was a pretty good prospect.
Yes, he was. So you've got all these wide receivers. So,
you get the best tight end in the league, practically.
Top 5, we'll say. Kittle had a down year this past season. But
yeah.
But
maybe the best pass-catching running back in the league.
But still, right. And then on top of that, you've got one great running back, and one's good when he's not injured. On top of that, backing him up. Yeah, they're loaded. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't get it either.
The only reason they're not paying Aiyuk is they must think they have to hold the line because all these contracts they have. So if you really can't afford to pay the player what he wants, and you have all these wide receivers behind him, what are we waiting for here? There's nobody else in the mix. It seems like there's no.
It's either like you said, they either want a player we're not willing to give up, or the Steelers are not willing to give up a second and a third.
I hope that's not it, because all this, con artist bullshit.
Yeah,
he's not willing to give up second and third for this guy.
Yeah, I know. So
I hope that's not it.
I just think that it's a combination of one of those two things is what I think it is. So I don't know, dude. My gut tells me it's not going to happen. He's just going to end up staying.
I go back and forth. Ask me today, I'll give you an answer. Ask me tomorrow, I'll have a different answer. It's like
I predict he stays with the 49ers. The Steelers then wait for all of these cuts, and they add either a guy off the Green Bay Packers squad or off of
Woods from the Texans. They've been talking about a lot. Yeah,
one of those teams that's really stacked at wide receiver, and they cut someone, or they bring Juju back because we just love guys familiar with the Steeler way.
No,
it's one of those is going to happen. Yeah, but no, dude, that's such a. Go look up his stats. Stats.
He played for New England, who probably had a worse quarterback situation than we did last year.
Van Jefferson in one season last year has more yards than Juju's last 4 combined.
No, that can't be right.
All right.
Maybe
1 second. I got
Juju was hurt one year, right?
Right. He was. But that's my point. The guy's always no.
He played with Ben Roethlisberger's corpse his last year. Then he did play at Kansas City one season, so there was that.
Okay, so he had 200. He had 260 yards last year. Then he had 933 with the Chiefs. Shocker.
And that's 1,100. That's more than.
No, I told you. I'm saying I misspoke.
Oh,
But
okay.
then,
All right.
but then the next season he only had 129 yards.
I think he was hurt that year.
Probably right? Was, but
yeah.
So 2 out of those 3 seasons he combined for only 300 something yards, Dave. Yeah. Like the guys.
I think we throw the New England season out. Throw the New England season out. That was a terrible offense. Look, I get it. Juju Smith isn't the same guy he was his first 3 years of the year. I get that. But as a
he only has 1,000 yard season. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
He had one with Pittsburgh too, didn't he?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Didn't he have? You said he had 1,000. Oh, yeah, 900 something, right?
That's the one I'm talking about. He had the 1,426 yards his second year.
Second year, and then he had 900. You said with the Chiefs,
and then
not quite 1,000.
His second highest was 933 with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But bro, that's it. Like my man doesn't. He does. It's not like. I'm just being honest. It'd be another mid-off guy. Like you're just adding to the mid-off.
You're right. My point is he'd probably be the best mid-off.
Now, would I like him maybe in the slot?
That's what I'm saying. A big slot. I think he fits perfect in Ito Smith's offense.
I can like that. I can like that with him. But you still want. How about this? I want him and Aiyuk. Can we have him in the slot with Aiyuk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go that route.
Easily afford that. You could easily afford because Juju's not going to cost you anything.
And now I feel like we're talking. Because now you got your guy that can grind out getting those 5 yards or 6 yards you need on a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5. He's your guy because you know he'll catch the ball, right?
Him and Scotty Miller.
Oh, I mean, on top of having Aiyuk and Pickens, yes.
Yeah, and then you bring in Calvin Austin every once in a
while. But for Juju to be the ad and go, hey, we got Juju.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not expecting 1,400 yards. That ship has sailed. He's not the same player because he took an unholy beating in Pittsburgh his last couple of seasons because of all those bad passes.
That's true.
And they made him basically play the middle of the field and be, the tight end.
Yeah.
In effect, and he got killed.
Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, I just that can't be the move. No,
it's not gonna solve the problems of the two receiver.
No, it's not.
100% not. Well, it wouldn't be a bad ad. I mean, what's the hurt? Bringing him in at a minimum contract and see what he can do. If he sucks, you cut him.
Right now, my top wide receivers on this team that I like is obviously Pickens, and then I like Van Jefferson and Scotty Miller. Right now, those are my. And Calvin Austin looked good against the backups.
Yeah, he's had a solid camp.
So if I could see more of this with the starters, okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I need to see. I can't wait for Roman Wilson to be healed so we can get a look at him because that's what we're also forgetting is that guy, he might be kind of an X factor. Like if this kid actually ends up being a hit for them with this past draft, man, then we might be okay.
This is a problem, though. He's missing a lot of time right now.
Yep.
So that might set him back a couple of weeks.
And the importance of getting an Aiyuk, and I saw this today, and it's a really good point, is what if Pickens gets hurt? Then what? Then
you're done. You are cooked.
That's why it's so important to get an Aiyuk because if you lose Pickens,
you're in trouble.
Oh, that's rough.
You might be able to get by a game or two, but if he's out for 6 weeks, you're in big trouble.
Well, that's when you're going to see like a 14 personnel. You're going to see some crazy shit, So
Hunter Hayward, Nicole Pruitt, and everybody else on the field at the same time.
Coletto will be out there too. Like it's going to be some crazy shit. Like
Najee Harris at wide receiver at that point.
Yeah.
It's a scary thought to think George Pickens getting injured. That's terrifying because.
So it's a good point. I wish I could remember who made that point, and I give them credit. But yeah, no, that's the thing. If you lose, why you want Aiyuk is if you lose Pickens to injury, you're done. Like you're going, like now they don't got to worry about two guys with their coverages. If you take out the top guy, say it's Van Jefferson, you're good. Like it frees up that defense.
Van Jefferson and on the outside, Quez Watkins or Roman Wilson.
Because then they're going to pin their ears back and come for Russell Wilson or Phil Soul.
Any deep stuff,
And with freaking Moore out there at left tackle, I don't even want to think about it. Give me nightmares to think about what would happen in that scenario. So,
play zone, you make them hold the ball, and you just tee off.
Right.
Good night.
Oh, dude.
So, well, let's not think about that too much. Hopefully, we don't put that negative energy out there because, oof, that could be bad.
Yeah.
I guess that's it, Dave. Some positive things. We got the next preseason game. It's on Friday again, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I got the app. I can check real quick, but I do believe we'll see a little more improvement this time. But here's the thing, though. It might be Russell Wilson this time running the offense.
We hope Russell Wilson. He should play this next game. He has to. If he's out, right. If he doesn't.
Oh no, it's a Saturday game at 7.
It's a Saturday game. Okay, good.
NFL Network against the Bills, and it's a home game.
I just have one complaint. NFL Network. Catch up with the rest of the live broadcast, man. I'm watching tweets of plays that have happened, and I'm waiting 10 minutes to see these plays. That was freaking annoying. They were at least 10 minutes behind the local broadcast.
When you text me that, I was just like, bro, that happened long ago.
Yeah, I texted you that. What's his name? It just fumbled. You're like, oh, bro, that happened a while ago.
So, I'm like, you got dial up there? Like, what do you use for internet? Like, what's going on?
I'm watching the pregame show and people are tweeting about the game. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? They're still talking on the set. We're going to go to Pittsburgh in a minute, and you guys are talking about Justin Fields. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Life outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I don't think this year I'm going to go to the Buffalo Bills game downtown Pittsburgh this season.
You'd be coming back going predicting Super Bowl again.
Yeah, well, on top of that, I paid $80 for parking because I parked at Rivers Casino. Yeah, amateur here. I didn't have a parking pass, and I regretted that because me and my son are driving all over looking for, and I couldn't get anything. So I was forced to park at Rivers Casino, $80 I paid for parking. Then on top of going to the game and spending, an enormous amount of money for that. But the game was incredible, and I thought they were going to the Super Bowl. But besides that, not doing that again.
How's the traffic getting out of there after a game? Is it tough?
When we got out of there, they actually were directing traffic out of Rivers Casino, a certain route on the backside of Pittsburgh. So it directed us towards Ohio River Boulevard, and we just went that back route back up to where I'm from in Beaver. So it wasn't too bad, but I'm sure going out the other way through actually downtown Pittsburgh was probably really bad. Because for preseason games, 65,000 people showed up. That was a lot more than I was expecting to be at a preseason game, dude. That's like about what that stadium holds.
Yeah,
like it's 66,000. It might be more now, but but that's a hell of a turnout for preseason.
I heard somebody talking, and I remember from going to Foxborough to see some Patriot games. That place is a nightmare. You are minimum if you park in the stadium parking lot. You're minimum 3 hours just to get out of the lot. Never mind get on the road. It's brutal down there. So
no, it didn't take 3 hours. But like I said, we went out of River Casino and we went out the backside towards River Boulevard.
Actually, you paid a little extra money, but it kind of worked out.
Yeah, I guess. But boy, that was a swift kick in the nuts. $80.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking parking.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at SteelersSank16. Email the show at daver@SteelersSanctuary.com. Subscribe to the podcast, rate and review. That helps us out tremendously. Keep hitting that subscribe button for us, guys. Dave, give me stuff. Let's get out of here.
Yep, you can find me on X at DMC3SSP and find me on TikTok at Steelers Sanctuary Podcast or at SteelSank Pod.
All right, until next time, thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary Podcast.